You already know Malaysia interest rate OPR Overnight Policy Rate, which aligns with SBR or Standardized Base Rate, hovers near 3% and it's on an upward trajectory, but with inflation figures also known as Consumer Price Index CPI hovers around 4%-ish. Malaysian real central bank rate stands at a negative 1-ish%, 1.3% to be exact at the time of this video. Now you already know the drill. The value of your money shrinks 1% every year by putting it into money market, or more commonly known as fixed deposits. But how bad or good is Malaysia compared to the rest of the world? Let's see. Also, there is one country in this list with 80% inflation and another country gets 14% in fixed deposit returns. I'm going to tell everything, so stay tuned until the end of this and subscribe if you have not already. Malaysia close neighbour Singapore interest rate stands at 2.65%, down from 2.85% recently, with inflation at 6.7%, making a real interest rate at minus 4.05%. Now considering that unlike in Malaysia, there's little if any mass subsidies in Singapore, so this is not too bad to be honest, because Malaysia inflation could be at 11% when subsidies are banished entirely from the system. Indonesians interest rate and inflation is almost on par with each other, 5.25 versus 5.7%, while the Philippines see its citizen money shrink by 2+% with key policy rate at 5% and inflation in the mid 7%. Things are not looking too good in Thailand either, when you get a 6% inflation while parking your money into Thai banks accounts, only yielding about 1% per year. Now in the rest of Asia, you see Japan, notorious for its decades-long deflation and stagflation. It's probably the only country in the world with zero or even in the negative central bank policy rate, unchanged since 2016 regardless of what is happening around the world. And when you mix that with a 3.7% inflation, you just learn that probably more Japanese may actually feel poorer than many Malaysians. The other country that seems to be living inside a bubble is China, with its loan prime rate at 3.65% and inflation tightly controlled at 2+%. It's one of the few countries with positive real central bank rate. Apparently, Beijing is hell-bent on cutting interest rate instead of hiking it like the rest of the world. Now, if you're in India, putting your money into banks' cash deposits can give you a similar 5 to 6% return per annum, as if you were investing into Bursa Malaysia dividend stocks. But with inflation raging at near 7%, minus 1% real interest rate could mean many Indian citizens may also struggle to cope. Except people like Mukesh Ambani, of course. Even though Taiwanese experience similar real central bank interest rate at around minus 1%, I reckon they have better standard of living than the people in India. What do you think? Plus, this indication the rate hike is slowing. Country with the most expensive real estate in the world, Hong Kong, is surprisingly resilient with real interest rate of 2.5% with its 4.25% central bank rate making up a 1.8% inflation. Now that shows you that the absolute price of something like real estate property is not to be confused with inflation, which is the rate of increase of something on a year-by-year basis. Now I've spoken to some Saudi-based Malaysian clients, and when they told me they want to repatriate their savings back to Malaysia, I say, look, better park your Rial back in Saudi for now, because it could yield you 4.5% return, and some more is on an upward trajectory. Plus, inflation isn't too bad at 3%, one of the few countries like China with positive real interest rate still. You already know that US 3.88 federal funds rate on the way up to 4% or more in a short time. Shortly, with sky-high inflation at 7.7%, although it seemed to have peaked at 9.1% back in June 2022. Now, the UK is on the same predicament with minus 8% real interest rate, with inflation at double digits, 11%, while interest rate barely able to keep up. Energy crisis, anyone? Now, the same trend in UK can be observed across Eurozone with double-digit inflation at 10+%, with European Central Bank interest rate that is not enough to keep up with inflation just at 2%. The real interest rate comes about -9%, a recipe for disaster when you slap the euro with Christmas energy crisis. Do Scandinavian countries like Denmark, Sweden and Norway suffer the same fate as Eurozone though? The answer is yes in terms of inflation, with Denmark and Sweden recording about 10+% inflation, with depressed interest rates ranging from 1.25 to 2.5%. Switzerland seems to be on the race to the bottom, with Japan at 0.5% bank target rate, with inflation which is 6 times higher, and that got you a real bank rate of -2.5%. For the rest of the world, highlights would be on Russia. Now, despite ruble recover against US dollar since the start of the war, inflation at 12.6% is no joke, even with a 7.5% key policy rate. Russian citizens' money buys 5% less vodka now. But that's nothing compared to Argentina inflation at 88%. Unbelievable. However, Argentina's central bank rate, known as the benchmark rate, is at 75%. Ridiculous, right? Actually, it's not as bad, with only a -13% real central bank rate. So you see, real central bank rate matters more than looking only at bank's interest rate or the inflation of a country in isolation. Its World Cup arch nemesis Brazil experienced way more milder 6.5 inflation, and with its central bank rate at 13.75%, you can literally get your Bursa Malaysia stocks return by just parking your money into Brazil fixed deposit, which by the way is so volatile month to month, just like your stocks. Looks like inflation has decreased a lot rapidly in the same time. See this. Now for this country, I had to check twice just to make sure. 85% inflation, but unlike Argentina, its central bank interest rate, known as the repo rate, is just as a paltry 9%, effectively making its real interest rate at -77%. Imagine your 100 ringgit is only worth 23 ringgit after 1 year, and that is so crazy. That country is Turkey. Some more, they are actually cutting interest rate. I'm not joking. They are not hiking interest rate, they are cutting it. Anywhere in the world you want to live in, but Turkey. It is a hot mess now. Which country did we miss? Let us know in the comment section below. Hope this helps you stay current on what is going on. Do subscribe. We'll keep you updated on all major developments, saving you time and money.